The month of July is gradually coming to an end, and of course, it's high time we start taking a second look at Nigerian football. Of course, you know that the Super Eagles did not qualify for the World Cup. The World Cup is coming to a close in the next few days, and of course, the big boys, yes, Spain, France, Argentina, and England will be playing the finals of the World Cup. But back home, we need to discuss Nigerian football. Yes, in discussing Nigerian football, we have the countdown to the NFF election, the NFF Congress, and of course, the big boys behind me, Ibrahim Gusau, the NFF president, is gearing up for another election. I've seen the adverts out there, of course, General Secretary of the Nigerian Football Federation talking about Mohamed Sanusi is also gearing up, thinking that he's coming back for another term. He wants to remain in office. Of course, you know he's not an elected official. But of course, it's lobbying. It's begging the big boys to say, hey guys, let me have another term in office. And of course, the board members, everybody have started a campaign. They're all looking forward to September 30th, when the election into the NFF will take place. Who are the big boys looking set to come into the office as the next NFF president? Of course, there are lots of rumors that business mogul, business magnate, talking about Kunle Shoname, is so interested in this race. But of course, he came out a few days back to say, guys, I am not interested. Baba don't surrender. Baba don't want wahala. Baba don't want crisis. But let me tell you something you don't know. This is going to be a keenly contested election because a lot of people are showing interest, even though they've kept quiet. But I must tell you something very shocking is going to happen in the days counting down to the election. Like I told you, the election is coming up on the last day of September, and you must watch out for that election. Now, let's go to the board membership. That is where the contest is going to be, because from the southwest, the south-south, the northwest, and the northeast, there are going to be casualties. Yes, big casualties. Who are those casualties? Of course, on this show, I'm going to tell you who are the casualties, because like I told you earlier, some members of the executive committee are already looking at setting out the platform to get a few guys out of the board. Yes, Ahmed Yusuf Fresh from Niger State is one of the biggest casualties, because they are working tooth and nail to make sure that that man says goodbye to the NFF executive committee. Ahmed Yusuf Fresh has been a very strong, integral member of the board. He's been there for so long. And of course, he's a cat with 9 lives. Yes, in the 2022 NFF election, they did everything humanly possible to get him out of the board, but that man came back, he bounced back into the board, and of course, he's now the chairman of chairmen. Of course, you also know that the man, Alan, yes, Alan is, they call him Sheriff Inuwa. He's from Kano State, he's the FA chairman of Kano State, and of course, he has been the chairman of the NFF Technical Committee and the chairman of the NFF Marketing and Sponsorship Committee. He has an ambition to remain in the board. But again, there's a silent worker, a man who is from Katsina State, and of course, the chairman of Katsina State Football Association, and he is a member of the Federal House of Representatives. His name is Aminu Kaufi Balele. Balele says he's coming into the board and he wants to displace Alan, talking about Sheriff Inuwa. So how will Balele come into the board? That is one issue to be discussed. But again, you know that Balele is a multi-billionaire. Yes, he's a multi-billionaire. He's got money. And of course, when you have money in Nigerian football, you have a say. You have a way to work your way into the board. So, who is going to displace Alan? Can Aminu Kaufi Balele displace Alan? That is another topic for another day. And of course, let me tell you, from the southwest, yes, from the southwest, it's going to be a keenly contested battle. The likes of Alhaji Gafar, yes, Aj Gafar from Lagos State is keen to be part of the board. He has done so well, yes, in terms of football development in the southwest. Alhaji Gafar has done so well. Okay, again, I must say that the Lagos FA has been the best football organizers in the last 4 years. Aj Gafar has given his best to football development in Lagos State and of course in the southwest, and of course he has also participated fully in trying to develop football around the nation. Then, of course, you know that Majek Odumi, yes, Majek, the man from Ogun State, is also gearing up to come back to the board. He's been in the board for a long time, and of course, is not letting go. He says he wants to come back to the board. And of course, you also know that the man who is in charge of football in Ondo State, talking about Otumba Dele, yes, Otumba Dele also wants to remain in the board, and he is also fighting tooth and nail to be in the board. But again, in Osun State, there's somebody that is showing interest. He wants to come to the board. And of course, in Oyo State, we also understand that somebody is throwing his heart into the court. He also wants to be in the board. So it is going to be a contest, great contest. And of course, in the South, that is where there's going to be a battle. Yes, in the South, Aisha Falode is already on the board. But about 5 other guys want to be in the board from the South. Aisha Falode is seated, rooted in the board. And of course, Aisha Falode has a strong base in the board. So let's see what's going to happen from the South. I must tell you that this election is going to be keenly contested. Now, let me tell you about the presidential election. The presidential election has about 3 candidates, 2 faceless candidates, and 1 known candidate. The known candidate is the current president of the NFF, talking about Alhaji Ibrahim Gusau, while of course the faceless candidates have refused to reveal themselves, and we are looking forward to who these candidates are going to be. I know one of those candidates, but I'm not going to say it live on this show. Let's wait and see who those candidates are going to be, and let's see what the next few days will bring for Nigerian football. On this show, Wale Ajayi will tell you everything you need to know about the NFF election coming up in the next few months.